You know, when most of us hear the word meditation, we usually think about calming down, maybe de-stressing after a long day. But the system we're going to dive into today, Prakshatyana, well, it's aiming for something way, way deeper than just simple relaxation. It's a path to fundamentally transform who we are.
The philosopher William James really hit the nail on the head here. He talked about it as a process of remedying inner incompleteness. See, the real goal isn't just to feel good for a few minutes. It's about getting to the root of that inner conflict we all feel sometimes and starting this journey towards feeling, well, whole.
And that journey? It has a very clear destination. In the Praksha system, they call it total psychical goodness. And just to be clear, this has nothing to do with your physical health. We're talking about the incredibly ambitious goal of completely wiping out all negativity, or as the source text calls it, evil, from our thoughts, our words, and our actions.
So how in the world do you get there? Well, this system offers two very distinct paths. Think of it as a dual approach that works with our two greatest mental tools, our ability to perceive and our ability to think.
And this is really the core of the whole system. On one side, you've got Preksha, which is all about the concentration of perception. Here, you're just focused on pure awareness, and any kind of thinking is actually seen as a distraction. But then, on the other side, you have Anupreksha, the concentration of thought. And in this practice, conscious, focused thinking isn't a distraction at all. It is the technique.
Which, of course, brings up a really interesting paradox, right? Wait a minute. How can thinking be both the problem and the solution? It sounds like a total contradiction, but understanding this distinction is absolutely crucial to getting how this system actually works.
Okay, so here's the answer. A mind that's just wandering all over the place, that's a distraction. But, and this is the key, when you take that same mental energy and you channel it, you concentrate it intensely on one single theme, it completely transforms. It stops being noise and becomes this incredibly powerful tool for meditation, a tool that can lead you to realizing some really profound truths.
All right, let's explore that first path, Preksha. This is the path of pure perception, and it starts with a journey inward, turning our awareness to the amazing, complex machinery of our own bodies.
What's so cool about this is how practical it is. You start by just systematically moving your full, undivided attention through your body. The key here is not to think about your heart or your lungs, but to directly perceive them working, to feel the pulse, the rhythm of your breath, all those subtle movements happening inside.
And this journey gets deeper and deeper in these clear stages. You start right at the surface, feeling the air on your skin. Then you move a little deeper into the muscles. Deeper still, you start to actually perceive your internal organs doing their thing, your heart beating, your stomach digesting. And finally, with a lot of practice, your awareness gets so sharp you can sense the really deep stuff, the subtle vibrations of your metabolism, the flow of energy itself.
And this is where it all clicks. This quote perfectly illustrates the incredible aha moment that comes from this deep perception. Once you directly experience your body as this nonstop process of building up and breaking down, this realization just dawns on you. This physical thing, this body that I call me, it's not a permanent thing at all. It's just a temporary process, and it's totally separate from the eternal, conscious self that's been doing all the observing.
Okay, so that was path 1. Now let's switch gears to the second path, Anupreksha. This is where we shift from pure perception to concentrated thought. We're actually going to use our minds to contemplate some universal and, yes, sometimes pretty uncomfortable truths.
The whole point of this practice is to cut through all of our own filters, our personal biases, the stories we're told by our culture, all those comforting illusions we build up. It's about using deep, sustained focus to see reality exactly as it is, not how we wish it would be.
And look, these are not light and fluffy topics. We're talking about meditating on transitoriness, the raw fact that our bodies are temporary. Or helplessness, the stark reality that nobody, no matter how rich or powerful, can save us from death. Or even separateness, this idea that our true self is, in the end, fundamentally alone and distinct from everything and everyone else. The goal here is to really internalize these truths to radically change your entire perspective on life. So we've got two really powerful paths, perception and contemplation. But how do you actually translate the insights you get from them into real, lasting change? Well, the system has a very practical technique for that, and it's known as autosuggestion, or bhavana.
Oh man, I love this analogy from the source text because it's just so perfect. Think about it. A ferry is a tool, right? It gets you from one shore to the other. In the exact same way, bhavana is a mental tool. It's the ferry boat you ride to get yourself across that river of mundane existence, which is full of things like fear and anger and attachment, to the other side, to a shore of peace and wisdom.
So how does this ferry boat actually work? It's all about the frequent and prolonged repetition of a single idea. You repeat it over and over and over again until it sinks deep down in your mind and causes a radical shift in your attitude. The source text compares it to herbal medicine, where it's not one big dose but repeated, thin layers of a substance that eventually bring about a profound cure.
Now, for this to actually work, there are two conditions that are absolutely essential. First, your body has to be totally relaxed and completely still. That creates a stable platform for your mind to work. And second, you need an intense, focused will, a steady, determined repetition of the idea you're trying to integrate, whether that's compassion or fearlessness or honesty. And all of this entire system, brings us to the ultimate question. After all this practice, after perceiving the body as just a temporary process, after contemplating how fleeting our attachments really are, we're left with this one profound inquiry. If we are not this body, if we're not our jobs or our relationships or our possessions, what's left? What then is the true, unchanging self that has been watching it all unfold?